Well, I mean, my belief is if you surround yourself with the right people, they'll do the things that they're bloody good at, and if they're doing the things that they're bloody good at, then our clients and our partners will appreciate it and grow from that as well, and therefore they will pay us. So the financial aspect tends to come last, and the people aspect tends to come first. I would say that. Again, arms open type of person. I think the human being is just remarkable when it is allowed to be. I think we have imposed too many rules on ourselves around, and I think it's getting worse as well. And I don't want to get myself into too much trouble, but I think we're becoming way too PC, and I think we're becoming just homogenized and making sure that everyone's happy and no one's boundaries are being pushed, and that's because we're not accepting of the differences. And actually those differences are fucking awesome. You probably have to beat that one out. The differences are what makes the human race special, because we can add different thought. Again, the thought of 1 + 1 = 3. You've got a thought, I've got a thought, let's put them together. I'm positive we'll come up with something completely different. Then we've got 3 thoughts. Brilliant. So for me, going back to the point that I think human beings can be amazing, I've always thought that my job, especially, and CEO is an interesting one, again, because I hate that title because it comes with a whole lot of connotations. I think that when you're given a position of leadership, and whether it's midway through your career, towards the end of the career, whatever, it's a massive responsibility. And your responsibility is not to be good at your job, it's to help other people be good at their job, and to build them to something so they can do, that they've got a purpose to be the best they can be. And I believe my job is to remove the barriers for that. And if it is whatever those barriers might be, I see my job as a leader is to serve the organisation to remove barriers so people can be brilliant. The challenge is, how do you build that into an organisational structure where you're always looking for the things that are wrong? And again, there's a massive issue there, because I would say that most of my job is on one side is to build people and to build the value back into the human spirit and what people can achieve. And then on the other side is to look for the things that aren't working. So you're deliberately looking for the things that need fixing or developing. And the challenge is how do you make sure that you communicate that those things are positive possibilities? I think that we've incentivized ourselves as the human race around the wrong qualities. And I think, as much as I love money, and I'm very driven by the dollar, and I've ended up in a job in which it is incredibly important as well, I still don't think it's the most important. I think it's an enabler to do other things, and part of those, and that's, I hope, I'm not entirely convinced, but I think that where the world is heading, and there's a big thing around conscious capitalism and conscious consumerism, and just being present, being a contributor to where the direction of the human race goes. I'm really excited by that, and it holds a huge amount of hope for me, because I don't think we should be that proud of the last 15 years. I think from a technology advancement and so forth, I mean, it's incredible, but I'm still not convinced it's reinforcing the right behaviors. I see some of the things that are happening with my kids versus me at the same age. I'm seeing some of the behaviors that are coming through because they've got so much information at their fingertips, but they've also got so much mindless bollocks. They can sit there for 5 hours playing something that in no way makes their brain, their life, their anything better. And yet, as the human race, we see that as an advancement. My son, who's 5, who is an awesome mini version of me, which means we clash a lot. But I was having some real problems with him when he was about 3 or 4, and when I say that, I think he was probably having more problems with me. So the difference was I could read. So I went and got a book by a New Zealand author called Ian Grant, who wrote a book called Growing Great Boys. And there was a sentence in that which also reshaped how I work as a CEO. And the sentence was, honestly, I tell everyone this because it made such a massive impact on my life. It was something along the lines of, my job as a dad is not to teach my son how to be a good boy, it's how to teach him to be a great father. And what really hit home for me was I wasn't teaching him about the skills that he would need when he was 25, 30, 35. He was pissing me off because he was yelling around the house. And, there's quite a different moment to address. Now, when I say that's affected how I lead things here, my job is not to teach people whether they're right or wrong. It's to teach them about the impacts that they're going to have and the skills that they're going to need when one day they replace me. And, if I can help in some way build a leadership dynamic which grows better people, then in 10 years we might have a bunch of people that are as focused on humanity or that conscious side of life, and therefore we might end up with a better world.